Hey guys, Enzo Flojo here, and this is the Mabuhay Basketball Podcast, the only show that brings you the latest scoop on everything basketball here in the Philippines. Whether you're a diehard fan, a casual observer, or just looking for some good old-fashioned hoop talk, you've come to the right place. So whether you're a fan of the PBA, the UAAP, the NCAA, Gilas, or any other league in the Philippines, we've got you covered. And if you're just discovering the exciting world of Philippine basketball, we're here to guide you through every dunk, crossover, three-pointer, and controversial college transfer. So get ready to be entertained, informed, and inspired as we delve into the world of Philippine basketball. This is the Mabuhay Basketball Podcast. Let's talk some hoops. Hey guys, Enzo Flojo here, and this is again the Mabuhay Basketball Podcast. This is a very quick reaction episode right after, so just about maybe 20 minutes ago, the our very own Gilas Women 5-on-5 national basketball team just won over Malaysia in their final game at the 2023 Southeast Asian Game Women's 5-on-5 basketball tournament, and that win was their fifth win of the entire tournament. Fifth win in 6 games. Of course, their only loss came at the hands of Indonesia about 3 days ago, which essentially basically thwarted all our efforts at the three-peat at the gold medal for women's basketball. Despite that, this was a very strong finish for our Gilas women's team, and therefore they finished with the silver medal. Okay, and that's not as nice as a gold medal, but still very good. And considering the fact that we did not have a single import or naturalized player, unlike Cambodia, which had around 4, they didn't even finish on the podium, and Indonesia, which finished with a gold, but they did have 2 imports. So if you look at it from that lens or that perspective, we still really have to give props to Coach Pat and his staff and his team, all the players of Gilas Women, for really playing their hearts out and producing this silver medal for the Philippines over there in Cambodia. Okay, now before we look at the nitty-gritty details of that win, first I want to look at some fan reactions. Okay, after that 77-63 win by Gilas over Malaysia, this of course is Janine Ponteos, maybe arguably the best shooter in the country when we're talking about women's basketball. I would probably put her among, very close to the elite level or top tier, if not at the top tier in Asia as well. So that's Janine Ponteos. So let's take a look at some interesting comments here from Robert Pablo. Congrats, Team Pilipinas. Galing ng Fajardo and Castillo Lodi. Kay Castillo, of course, one of the top shooters in the Philippines as well. Maybe top 2, right behind Janine Ponteos. Okay, and that's just my impression. I'm not basing that on any stats for now. Ella Fajardo also showing a lot of growth, maturity, and development, especially in terms of her offense in this tournament right here. Herbert Tew says, congrats to our Gilas women. You made us proud. Feels like gold already because our Indo sisters have 2 naturalized players. That's the difference. But it's not their fault. It's legal. Maybe next SEA Games we try to naturalize even 1. Then try to improve our offensive patterns sa depensa. Okay na. Nothing to change. Hopefully, later our men's would be able to duplicate our feet or your feet as well. Of course, later on, we have our Gilas men taking on Indonesia. Okay, Indonesia finishing at the top of Group B in the men's tournament. Gilas finishing second behind Cambodia. Crossover knockout semifinals. If we win that game tonight, 7 p.m., we move on to the gold medal game against either Cambodia or Thailand. Probably going to be Cambodia. If we lose, however, then for the first time in the history of the SEA Games, the Philippines will not finish top 2 in men's basketball. And for the first time ever, Gilas will play for bronze in the Southeast Asian game. And for the first time ever, Gilas might not even finish on the podium. But that's for another episode another day. Okay? For now, let's refocus back on our amazing Gilas Women. So, Ibrahim Ahmed said, dapat pala na ipanalo nila yung laban sa Indonesia. That's true. Talo kasi sila sa rebound. Indonesia may naturalized. Dapat sa sunod, kuha din tayo yung matangkad na. I know that Coach Pat kind of has been searching or has been very open to having a naturalized player, especially because we want to improve our standing, not only in Southeast Asia, but at the Asian level as well. I'm going to talk about this later, but at the Asian level, our women's team is at Division A. But we are, for the past few years, we've always been on the brink of moving or being demoted to Division B. Kasi nga, we cannot beat teams like Japan, Korea, China, Australia. I'm not sure if we've beaten Chinese Taipei and New Zealand, but usually, nahihirapan talaga tayo Division A. And maybe one naturalized player can help bridge the gap, so to speak. Okay? So, mostly congratulatory messages here as the ladies absolutely deserve. Congrats mga Lodi Cakes. Sabi ni Jade Seco. Silver na ba sila or they can fight for gold? Sabi ni Kai Ventura. Well, honestly, it's silver already. There's wala nang semifinals, finals. So women's division, it's really a single round robin. We have 7 teams, 6 games, round robin. Best record gets the gold. Second best gets silver. Third best gets bronze. For the men's, it's a different format because you have 8 teams divided into 2 groups. No? So there you go. All right. So congrats. All right. Very good. So very, very well played final game. And this still feels very sweet for Gilas Women because last year in Hanoi, it was Malaysia which dealt Gilas its only loss last year, despite Gilas Women actually winning the gold medal. So when Gilas Women won gold last year, when they formally clinched the gold, they still had 1 game to play, and that was against Malaysia, which sadly they lost. No? So ito parang payback time against Malaysia. So if you look at the standings here, again, Indonesia gets the gold. They ran the table this year, 6 wins in 6 games. Philippines getting 5 wins and 1 loss. That only loss coming at the hands of the Indonesians. And then Malaysia finishing 3rd at 4 and 2. Okay, the hosts, Cambodia, funnily enough, despite having 4 imports, finishing at 6th place right there. Okay. So let's look at some stats from this big win by the Philippines over Malaysia. So we actually won 3 of the 4 quarters in this game. We had a great start, leading by 11 after the first quarter, leading by 19 at the half. Malaysia made some adjustments and rallied in the third quarter, but we held on and kept them at bay in the fourth. If you look at some team stats, so in terms of field goal shooting, not much difference here. In terms of three-point shooting, Malaysia was really cold at only 4 out of 21. And again, we've been shooting well from long distance in this tournament, with the exception of that game against Indonesia. If we shot this well against Indonesia, I think we could have won that game, and we could have defended our goal and bagged that 3-3. But this is basketball, we can practice shooting as often as we can, but sometimes, even with the best shooters, even with the best shooting teams, they can get cold on certain days and in certain games. And that's what happened against Indonesia. But in most of the other games we played, we shot really well. This game against Malaysia is no exception. We hit 14 threes in this game. We had more threes than twos. Okay? And that's usually a good sign for a team, if you hit more threes than twos, assuming that you hit double-digit threes, then that means your outside shooting was really on fire. Okay? Free throws, ito talagang point of improvement, especially looking ahead, because we still have we have 2 big tournaments left this year. We have the FIBA Asia Women's Cup in June and the Asian Games. in September in Hangzhou, China. So this is a point of improvement for our women's team. Okay, 52% only from the line. Definitely an area to improve. We actually did not beat Malaysia in rebounding. It was dead even at 45 each. So another area for improvement. Okay. So at turnovers naman, ito okay tayo because we forced +7 turnovers on Malaysia. No? So our 3-point shooting, very good. Free throw rate, okay naman. We went to the line 17 times, but we also gave up 15 free throw attempts for Malaysia. So that's about even. Rebounding even. But lamang na lamang tayo sa turnovers and 3-point shooting. And that's really what gave us, a big lift in this game. Especially since Malaysia actually scored better in the paint and had, slightly more second chance points than we did. So our bench gave us a big lift as well. Okay. And again, that 3-point shooting was really big or huge for Gilas Women. So congratulations to Gilas Women on getting the silver. The past, 3 years or 3 editions of the SEA Games dating back to 2019, then 2022 last year, then this year. That's been the best stretch of basketball for our Gilas Women's team in the Southeast Asian Games. And I hope that, that trend of either winning or contending for the gold medal will continue for our women's team in succeeding editions of the SEA Games. No? But looking ahead, our next big tournament is this one. No? It's the FIBA Women's Asia Cup. It will be in Australia starting in late June. This is going to be from June 26 until July 2, 2023. So sa mga kabayan natin living in Australia, in Sydney, please go out and support our women's team. They're going to be playing their hearts out, going up against the very best in Asia. And honestly, since some of the best teams in Asia are the best in the world, okay, they're going to go up against the best in the world. And speaking of that, sino ba ang mga kagrupo natin? In which group is Gilas Women placed when it comes to the FIBA Women's Asia Cup? Okay, we are actually in Group B, okay, and we are going to be going up against, I think, the top 2 women's teams in Asia, and those are Australia, okay, and Japan, okay. Chinese Taipei, beatable, but still very, very tough, okay. So if I'm being completely honest, we are probably the lowest ranked team, in that group, and among all the teams in Division A, we are probably second lowest ranked. Only Lebanon is probably ranked below us, okay, in Division A. But again, it's going to be tough for our Gilas Women. Let's look at our schedule. So we open our campaign. Oh my gosh, it's going to be a tough opener for us because ito unang dalawang kalaban natin, bigatin na agad, We go up against Australia, which is the home team, and I think one of the top 10 women's teams in the world. And then Japan, of course, is the top Asian team in my opinion. And remember in the Olympics last year, they finished second overall in the women's basketball tournament. So they are one of the elite teams in the world. The two of these, they're these 2 teams, Australia and Japan, the Opals and the Japanese team. I forget what their nickname is, I think it's still Akatsuki 5 actually, So the Australians, the Opals, and the Akatsuki 5 are 2 of the best teams on the planet when it comes to women's basketball. And our Gilas Women definitely going to be big underdogs against both. Chinese Taipei, we play them on June 28th, and that's going to be a winnable game for our team, and I hope we do. We do surprise Chinese Taipei and get that win. Again, this is one of the 2 big tournaments awaiting Gilas Women. I think we're going to participate in the Hangzhou Asian Games also in September. So those are, the major tournaments this year remaining for our Gilas ladies. So again, congratulations on bagging that silver. Yes, no three-peat. Yes, no gold. But considering how the landscape has changed in Southeast Asian basketball for women, considering how our team did not have a single import or naturalized player. This silver finish was still very notable, very, very impressive, and definitely very praiseworthy for our team. So congratulations again, Coach Pat. Hope to get you on the pod soon and maybe some other players as well. If you guys enjoyed this topic, then you should like our future topics and discussions as well. As always, we're going to spotlight fan comments and stats because we value that kind of engagement and that kind of approach. Talking about basketball, our next episode will be tomorrow. That's going to be a reaction to whatever happens in our Gilas men's game later on when they face Indonesia. So whatever happens, support our team, support our players. Mabuhay ang Philippine basketball. Mabuhay tayong lahat. Again, thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Mabuhay Basketball Podcast. We hope you enjoyed listening as much as we enjoyed creating it. So don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Also, feel free to leave a comment because we love that engagement. And who knows, maybe your comment might be featured next. You can also read my stuff on clutchpoints.com, Tiebreaker Times, and of course, FIBA.basketball. Follow me on Twitter at Hoopnut or Instagram at TheHoopnut for more content and updates. Until next time, keep betting on yourself, shooting your shot, and seizing the moment. Mabuhay ang Philippine basketball.